Serah, what a nice surprise. This just goes to show you, if you have concerns, voice them, because sometimes they listen. Case in point, Serah, her LD got a rework. Because when it debuted on the Japanese server, oh my god, people were pissed. And for good reason, because it barely did anything. I mean, what? It did the attack, it gave her that 16-turn buff, and it applied the same debuff that her EX does. That's about all it did. But now they kind of gave her the Valkyrie treatment, where she's got awesome auras, HP damage up. I think that's really all she needed, to be honest. And maybe there's more to it that I'm just unaware of, but I wanted to showcase Serah. Still learning a little bit. I got her LD in 2 multis. It wasn't so bad. I was planning on skipping, but then they did what they did, so I'm like, alright, I gotta go in for this. And I'm glad I did, because I've always enjoyed using Serah. She was a Chaos legend back in the day. At base EX, she was so good. Cosmos too, she was awesome. I remember going back to Chaos, the second Chaos we ever got, which was Fang's Lost Chapter. I brought her at base EX, and she was so good against those Shaman, debuffing them and everything, alongside Cloud and Warrior of Light. Now I'm just going down memory lane. I brought her to Pathos 7, alongside Ulti and Charlotta. That was the power team in early Chaos. Ulti, Charlotta, Serah, amazing. So about the run in particular, this actually works out really well because I only did one other video for this, which was, I keep saying blind run, but I did a bunch of research before the fight, so it wasn't exactly blind. But usually when I say blind run, I mean my first clear, but blind run is not the right word to use. I misuse that all the time. But anyway, about what we're seeing here. I wanted to actually use Y'shtola's Burst against the Steams because I didn't do it last time. I used Clouds. I wanted to use Celes too because she's very good for this fight. And then we got Serah, so I'm like, okay, cool. I wanted to do another video for this anyway. There's my team, and it did not disappoint whatsoever. Constant battery, all these auras. We got delays, we got off-turn damage, we got debuffs. Like, we're pretty stacked with all these support queens. Well, Celes is more of a tank. She's technically not a support. You know what I mean. Don't even. Just don't. Fictional person that I made up that everyone knows for real. Don't do it. I think a couple of things I said about the account Steams last time are, I don't want to say coming back to bite me, but some people are taking notice of it because I keep getting like tagged on Twitter and like Facebook and messaged and stuff about the count Steams and everything I said about them. That was just a fraction of what I had to say about the count Steams. These things are horrendous. To be fair, this time around they aren't as bad, mainly because they don't do that counter anything but magic and dispel all your buffs shit. Could you imagine if they did that in this one, along with the frame turn and the HP damage reduction ignoring words? You know what I'm trying to say? That would be a nightmare. I mean, it's already bad enough. But at least this time around there's a little bit more freedom. But I will say, every time we see these damn Steams, they are pretty restrictive in some capacity. Like here, you gotta bring either Last Stand or some type of evasion, whether it be on your team or in the form of a call, which I did here. I gave Y'shtola the edge call, which I'm gonna utilize later on. The game plan is, since she has the highest health, they're gonna target her anyway when they get into the frame turn. So if we just pop the edge call, they'll both just swing and miss, so we won't have to worry about them dropping Y'shtola's health to 1 and then killing Serah, because she's got higher health than Celes does. I even tried, she should have higher health than this, Serah, but I took off her summon passives just in case we were in a situation where Celes could stall out and regen more health than Serah, like if Serah had taken damage, but that didn't end up happening anyway, so I could have just left the passives on, but whatever. Not like it matters.
Yeah, I think the only time I can think of where you really could just bully the Count's team is the one that showed up in tier 15. Because you could hit him with melee and ranged. He didn't frame his turns. If you still let him act too much, he would just blow you up because he's an asshole, but it was easier to just kind of bully. One problem with this setup is that Y'shtola's EX is the only thing that can deal with the orb, so timing there is pretty crucial. So you'll see there's instances where she has the 3 stacks of her overhead buff and I'm just not pressing it. That's because her EX is so close, or her EX is nowhere near refilling. So I'm like, okay, I gotta spam skills so I can deal with this orb. Because you'll see it gets to a point where there's like 1 turn on the orb, and if I didn't skill spam, we would have been dead. Like leading up to that moment. God, Celes is a god here. Like the only thing that she doesn't help with here is the orb. Everything else, she's incredible for this fight. So for those who haven't done it, consider her. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but when I was talking about different strategies and stuff for this fight, I don't remember if I mentioned 8, because 8 can totally cheese this. I'm seeing a lot of people run 8, Squall, and Paladin Cecil, but they're making sure that 8 has the most health, because yeah, you can't target lock them when they frame the turns, but if 8 has the most health, they're gonna just swing at him and miss and then get clocked in the face. And 8's damage is kind of, it's not the best at the moment, but if he's hooked up with somebody like Paladin Cecil, it's a huge difference. You'll definitely see a difference in his counters and his damage output with Paladin there, absolutely. And of course, Squall just doing Squall things. Squall eats these things alive. I was debating doing a Squall run, but I just kind of never got around to it. And then, yeah, we got Serah, so maybe I'd rather use her. I did do this run with Vivi instead of Serah, and that worked out too. Well, that's what you want to hear. It's a damn airplane, and I'm sure everybody can hear. It's staying in, whatever. So they're about to frame their turns again. And at that point, once that happens, Celes is going to go bye-bye, because she's really just here to deal with all this stuff, get some off-turn damage in the meantime, provide even more battery for these other 2 supports. Pretty much every hit is capped. Which is great. I love it. For boss rush coming up, I'm probably going to bring Celes. Since every time we get that, I always wish I had characters like Furion, because his off-turn damage is really good, especially if you build around him. But one, Furion is kind of starting to get power crept. I'm sorry, Furion fans, but there's a guy, Astenosis, okay? He does a whole Furion saga. He named his son Furion, okay? That's how big of a Furion fan he is. And even he will tell you, yeah, Furion's kind of starting to slip. Not to say he can't be used, so I don't want to see runs with Furion proving me wrong, because that's not even what I'm saying. I'm not saying he can't be used, okay? But point being, I always want him around whenever we get boss rush, and it's too late for me. I tried for him, it didn't happen. But now I at least have Celes to deal with it, and I'm considering Trey, because I know he'd be good for it too, but I don't know. We'll see about that. I just want to make sure I have enough for Terra. I can already token her burst, and I would hate to have 50 burst tokens saved up and not even be able to get the LD. That would be awful. Okay, I talked through it, but yeah, this is the edge call. This is what I'm talking about. Nothing to worry about. If we would have given the edge call to anybody else, that wouldn't have worked. Unless we gave it to Serah and let them hit Y'shtola and then Serah would dodge, but nah, I'd rather have him just dodge. I'd rather have him just miss twice. Makes more sense to me. Okay. Jack, do your thing. Okay. Celes, you have done wonderful, but it's time to go. Now time for God friend support. There is no better friend support than Ramza. He's the best one. And I'm trying to think of a situation where somebody else would be better than him, and I can't think of one. I mean, maybe it depends on team comp, but I don't know. With every team I build, he's always the best one. I think the last time, I'm trying to think, like the only time I used a friend support that wasn't Ramza since he came out was when I ran a duo for the RNA thing with the RNA and Lightning. Because I wanted to just delete their turns and stuff. Because their turns were framed anyway, so Ramza wouldn't have been able to delay him. In that situation, given the fact that I was only running 2 characters, I had to mix it up a little bit. But in general, Ramza's the best friend support out there. Fight me. Well, you won't. I'm sure most of you are going to agree. He's incredible. And you stole his burst. I tend to just, I try to go in when she's at the 3 stacks. Because if you do that, she can do the 3-stack Brave Attack, whatever it's called. I keep forgetting what it's called. She can do it twice. Look, she's going to do it again. Yeah, I can't pronounce that. I didn't play 14, forgive me. I don't know how you say that, but that's fine. Like, I didn't play 14, but I got the costume anyway. It's a cool costume, I don't care. Ooh, Tola, nice. Okay, we are going to have to deal with this orb in a second. I could have pressed the EX when I was in there to refresh the orb, but I wanted to go for damage. That does put us in kind of a weird spot, but we have a summon to take care of that. Which we should probably go into now. Would probably be a good idea. So just in case you want to hit us, now you can't. I wasn't really sure about summons, whether I should have brought Ramu or Diablos, but I just went with Ramu for Max Brave. I don't think it really would have mattered either way. This was a mistake. A had a launch ready, and I thought I was targeting him, but I wasn't. See me stalling? I'm like, wait, what? Why didn't we? Oh, okay. I guess we gotta use this. Huge mistake! That made me want to start the whole run over, not gonna lie, but we were already too far into it. That's just me being picky. I hate this stupid design. Why do they look like this? This is so dumb. Like what are your plans? Are you going to like a yacht party after this? Like a wine and cheese tasting? What the hell are you? Why are you dressed like this? Get out of my face. Ridiculous. Now I know she has the 3 stacks, so I could just dump that, but we have an LD left. Let's battery everyone to full and actually get the launch this time. Beautiful. Like, are they trying to get into some like exclusive club? So they put some suit on? Like, who's gonna let them in? They still have like giant steaming tentacles and they're holding these big ass knives. No one's gonna be like, oh, come on in, you're dressed nice. No! You're not fooling anyone. But you're trying to look your Sunday best? For what? It's a fight to the death. What is wrong with you? I think that's the first time I've ever insulted a boss's clothing. I think the first time I've ever like insulted the boss's clothing attire while I'm launching him into the air and beating his face in. He deserves it. They both do. They're horrible. Get out of my sight. Never come back. Speaking of hated bosses, the cat bats are coming up pretty soon, so that's going to be fun to see how people deal with that. But alright, there we go. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching.